The narcissist has forced you into a role you never asked for. You are the wife, but you have become the husband, unfortunately. It is that simple. You have swapped roles. You look around your life and you realize something terrifying. You are the one carrying the heavy loads, literally and metaphorically. You are the one climbing the ladder to fix the leaking roof because he cannot be bothered. You are the one mowing the lawn on a Sunday morning while he sleeps in. You are the one dragging the heavy boxes out of the garage, negotiating with the mechanic about the car, and talking with the contractor who is trying to rip you off. You have a man in the house, but only in name. He is physically there, yes, he is occupying space on the couch, eating the food you bought and using the electricity you pay for. But spiritually, he is absent. He's a ghost. When you ask him to step up, what does he do? He acts clueless. He looks at you with these blank, innocent eyes and acts like he does not know how to change a light bulb. He acts like paying the water bill is complex quantum physics that only you can understand. Or worse, he acts like those tasks are way beneath him and he cannot be bothered, that he is too special, too intellectual, or too talented to deal with the menial labor of keeping a life together. You feel like a mother to a toddler. You have to instruct him on every single thing. Did you lock the door today? Did you call the bank? Did you pick up the prescription? And half the time he does not do it, and then he blames you for nagging him. Or he does it so poorly that you have to go back and redo it yourself. Weaponized incompetence, right? So you stop asking eventually. You just do it. You put on the work boots, you pick up the hammer, you harden your heart, you kill your own softness because you have to survive. You become the structure, the disciplinarian, and the protector. Hi, I'm Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to show you the 5 distinct stages of how a narcissist weaponizes his own incompetence to force you into masculinity, and how this destroys your soul. Let's start with step 1, the false advertisement. This is the bait, by the way. In the beginning, as you already know, during the love bombing phase, the narcissist probably presented himself as the ultimate alpha protector. He likely told you, I'll take care of everything, don't worry. He may have been flashy with money, assertive with waiters, or decisive about plans. This was a costume. He was mirroring what he thought a man should look like to trap you. But once the hook was set, the costume came off. The moment the relationship became real, he initiated the great resignation. Slowly, he started abdicating his throne. He stopped planning dates. He stopped handling crises. He stopped being the one who checks the noise downstairs in the middle of the night. He started to build the relationship not as a partnership, but as a foster home. He did not want a partner to build an empire with. He wanted a mommy to manage his life so he could go back to being a child. He tricked you. He sold you a vision of a king, but you moved in with a pauper who thinks he is entitled to a palace. Step number 2, weaponized incompetence. This is the training period. This is the most manipulative tool in his arsenal. This is how he trained you to take over his responsibilities. Weaponized incompetence is when a fully capable adult pretends not to know how to do certain things, right? Or does it so badly on purpose that you will never ask them to do it again. Let's say you ask him to do the laundry because you are sick or you have to take care of the baby. A normal partner would say, sure, and do it. The narcissist will do it, but he will accidentally wash your favorite white silk blouse with his red socks. He destroys your clothes. When you get upset, he plays the victim as usual. He says, I tried to help. You are never satisfied. I can't do anything right for you, can I? Now, look at what happened. You are the one who lost a shirt. You are the one who is upset, but he is the one demanding an apology. What is the lesson your brain learns from this? If I ask him to help, it creates more chaos. It's easier if I just do it myself. He knows this very well. He is counting on this. He is intentionally failing so that you will fire him from the job of being a husband. He wants you to lower your expectations to zero. He wants you to believe that he is helpless so that you will feel guilty asking him to lift a finger. Which is why we need to talk about step 3. This is where it gets worse. The crisis vacuum. It's a takeover, the ultimate end. Life eventually throws a curveball. The car breaks down, a pipe bursts, or a massive debt collection letter arrives, a notice. In a healthy dynamic, the masculine energy steps into the chaos to create order. He should say, "I got this, I will handle it, don't worry." But the narcissist freezes, or he collapses. He looks at the bursting pipe and throws a big tantrum. He looks at the debt letter and ignores it. He creates a vacuum of leadership. You are standing there watching the water rise or the debt pile up. Panic sets in. You realize, if I do not fix this right now, we are going to lose everything. So you step in. You call the plumber. You negotiate the payment plan. You pick up the extra shifts to pay the debt. You handle the crisis. And in that moment, the contract is signed. He sees that when he does nothing, you do everything. He sees that he does not need to carry the weight because you have broad shoulders. You have officially taken the wheel, and he has officially climbed into the passenger seat to play on his phone. Step number 4, the polarity shift, which unfortunately is about the death of your softness. This is where the deep psychological damage happens. This is where you lose her. You cannot be in your feminine energy, which is receptive, open, flowing, and creative, when you are in survival mode all the time. You cannot be soft when you are carrying a grown man on your back. Your biology literally changes. Your cortisol spikes, your testosterone may even rise to meet the demand of the aggression required to protect your home. You start walking differently, you start talking differently, your voice gets deeper, sharper, more commanding. You stop giggling, you start barking orders. You have to. If you're soft, the wolves will eat you, and the wolf is inside the house, unfortunately. You start to resent him physically. When he tries to touch you, your skin crawls. Why? Because your body does not register him as a man anymore. Your body registers him as a dependent. Evolutionarily, women are not attracted to their dependents. You cannot desire the person you have to parent. You look at him lying on the couch while you are fixing the drywall, and you do not see a husband. You see a parasite, and you feel yourself turning into stone. You mourn the woman you used to be, the one who liked to paint or dance or relax. That woman is dead, buried under the weight of his responsibilities. Which is why step number 5 brings it all together. The controlling mother. This is the final insult. This is the cruelty that breaks you. After you have saved him, after you have fixed the roof, paid the bills, and managed the chaos he created, he resents you for it. He tells his friends that you are bossy, rigid, or masculine. He tells people that you never let him do anything, that you treat him like a child. He projects his own inadequacy onto you. He feels small because you are doing his job, so he attacks you for being too big. He will say things like, "You are always so stressed. You are never fun anymore. You're just like a drill sergeant." He mocks the very armor he forced you to wear. He breaks your legs and then laughs at you for using crutches. He makes you the villain of the story for keeping the ship afloat, while he resents you for being the captain he refused to be. Now, I want you to understand that this shift, this becoming the man, was a survival response. It was not a choice. You are not naturally hard. You are structurally supported by nothing but your own spine. But here is the truth you need to hear today. You cannot turn a boy into a man by doing his homework for him. As long as you are mowing the lawn, he never will. As long as you are fixing the messes, he will keep making them. You have been over-functioning to compensate for his under-functioning. The only way to find your softness is to put down the load. And I know what you're thinking, but Danish, if I put it down, everything will crash. Let it crash. Let the electricity go off. Let the grass grow 3 feet high. Let the consequences find him. You have to stop being the husband. You have to stop being the shield. You have to stop being the mother. You are exhausted because you are doing the work of 2 people. Reclaim your energy. Step back. And if he collapses without your support, let him collapse. That is not your failure. That is his gravity. And if you want to feel supported during this process, you can join my community called Thrive After Narcissistic Abuse. Link is in the description or in the pinned comment. With that, let's bring this episode to an end. I will talk to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.